Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to talk about what you can do to improve at Counter-Strike if you're not around your computer. Let's say you go on vacation, summer's coming up, everybody's going to go on vacation if you're, privileged enough to do so, or maybe, you're a bad boy, so you get your computer taken away, so you basically have a vacation from Counter-Strike, but you're going to be away from your computer at some point in time, hopefully, and you might still have that itch to grind Counter-Strike, right? You want to do something to get better at the game, but you don't know how. You don't know what you can do. So here's a couple things that I try to do when I'm away from Counter-Strike, just to keep the flame going, keep the learning aspect going. Obviously, you can't practice your spray control or your aim, your taps, your movement, whatever, because you don't actually have the game in front of you. All you probably have is a phone. And so, again, like YouTube, right? So first off, number one, obviously you want to go through and watch all of my videos, okay? Which I'm sure most of you have already done. I didn't even want to mention it because I know that most people have seen all my videos. But if in case there's one that you're missing out on or something, go back and watch all of them, all right? Now, obviously, after that first step is done, now we can get into the other things you want to do, the B tier level things. But that's the S tier, A tier thing that you want to go through and watch all my videos. But for B tier type of things, because obviously nothing will touch that level of HardFluff video, there's a couple things you can do. All right, so there's first thing that you can do, which I sometimes do. As you can see, I don't do it like here. I watched one, I watched half of another. And yeah, I'll go through and pick out like specific, on specific maps that I want to see or whatever. But you can go through and watch individual POVs of players who did well. So you see their scoreline, you see what player it is, who they were playing, and what map. You click it, and it shows every single one of their kills, what they do, how they set up for the round. You just go through, you watch the whole thing. Honestly, all right. No flame to this guy, honestly, kind of boring as shit. As you can see, I don't really watch many of these. There's also a shit ton of them posted like every single day, especially around tournaments. But yeah, I can get like halfway through them and I'm like, okay, I've learned like 2-3 nifty tricks, right, that I want to try out. I don't find these as entertaining as I find this, for example, where this guy goes through and just posts all the highlights from the matches, and it has the commentators from like the stream and all that. It's not just silent watching one player. It's actually like you're watching the match, right? So you're not going to learn as much from this, but the entertainment value does increase. You're going to actually watch more of it. So maybe it equals or it evens out since you're watching more but learning less compared to watching less, learning more. I'm not too sure on that, but it's something that you can do, and there's going to be little tricks that pros do, and you're like, whoa, that was actually kind of sick. And if you watch enough of them, you'll have enough that you can start writing them down so you remember when you come back. Another thing that you can do that I believe is fairly underrated is actually trying to develop your own strategies. Now, there's a couple different tools that you can use. I personally like this one just to visualize it a little bit better. This is CSGOboard.com, and you can go through, pick whatever map you want to do. So let's do Mirage. Let's move it a little bit. And then you can go and let's say you want to smoke down here, smoke here, and you can visualize your strats, right? You can visualize what's supposed to happen. No, I didn't want to rotate my map. I want to clear my map. How do I clean? There we go. You can see how much I actually use this. But actually visualizing your strategies and realizing why a strategy works and a strategy doesn't work is going to improve your own gameplay more than you can actually realize or will actually realize. So, for example, if you're going for an A take, all right, the very, very, very simple A take that people try to do all the time, right? So you get a smoke jungle, smoke CT, smoke top stairs. I can't speak. Top stairs, right? And then let's say that you're IGLing for your team. You're trying to teach your like matchmaking team, whatever. You're trying to teach everybody. You want to molly towards bench in case they run out. You want to molly towards back triple in case they run out. You want to molly under balk, and then maybe you want 2 flashes over, and you want them both to pop before you actually go out onto the site. Right? This, in theory, Great, it's covering all. A guy can't be back triple. A guy can't be running out. Maybe you even want an extra molly. Hey, still got 2 mollies left over. You might want one default, so they can't be default or underbalk. And then you have 2 smokes left over for post plant, where maybe you want to everybody exit through CT and you want to re-smoke top stairs and jungle, right? So in theory, looks great. You're using all the utility available to you, and you're covering all the angles, all that. In practice, that strat's going to be dog shit, right? One, way too many moving parts, so many reasons or errors that could be made in the strat. Somebody doesn't have a molly. What do you do then? What if they're the ones that throw the underbalk molly? Arguably one of the more important ones, or the bench molly. Arguably one of the more important mollies, right? What do you do then? What happens if one of your players dies? What happens if they push through ramp while you're setting up? So there's so many other variables that you're just not accounting for when going for strats like that. So once you realize why a strat works or what you're trying to do with the strat, so for example, a normal default would be you want to smoke window, you want to smoke cat. This is then going to draw the connector player towards mid, right? I couldn't draw the full arrow. I thought I'd be able to add on to it. You get my point. But so then he gets drawn towards mid. The window player, since he smoked off window, he might go towards top connector. Or if you purposely miss the window smoke, he's definitely going to be looking top mid, looking for the T's to be running out here. But instead of doing that, maybe you want to actually just pop out a ramp, since you have the connector player more drawn towards connector, right? And now you can just come out of ramp, kill the guy who's probably sitting CT, and now all you have to do is worry about this side of the map. You can get bombed down safely, right? So it's the misdirection, it's counting players, it's if you're holding a default, and let's say you kill the window guy, right? So now you know that there's a CT probably here, let's say here, and here, right? So what does this mean? This means that your A site is now favorable for you to take. They still have both B players up, right? So that's, nothing's really changed on B site. But A site, now that you have your window player dead, now you can go towards A, because they won't have the second person jungle. Maybe you guys get that easy kill top con, or this guy peeks from ticket down into connector, you get that kill. Or this guy can walk out A and maybe kill the CT guy, since his con player is probably not going to be helping him. He's going to be more looking towards con, since his window player is dead, right? So there's so many different things that you can think about like that. And I so recommend going through and trying to do that, trying to just actually understand why something works, why something doesn't work, because it's one of those, you have to know the rules to break them, right? Where once you know why a strat is going to work, if you realize that that's the CTs aren't giving you the right look, maybe you break from the strategy and you do something that, will actually work. You're technically not doing what you're supposed to do, but it could work. So for example, you guys are doing a 3-1, well, a 1-3-1. So you got 1 towards A, you got 3 towards mid, and then you got another 1 towards B, right? So the point of this is that mid should be easy to take because you have 3 people in mid, right? And then A should be difficult to take because you have 1 person towards A. But the trick is you want to have these 3 players mid, kill some mid people, so then the A guy can come out, and then these guys can come up and meet together towards A site and have an easy A, while this guy lurks, right? So let's say that you have that setup, but the problem is that these mid players, all right, these 3 mid players, it's not the first time you've run it 3 times in a row now, and now the CTs, you got 1 pushing up from cat, 1 in window, right, 1 coming from connector, and these mid players are having a really difficult time getting those kills. That means that this one guy who originally should have a really difficult A site to take probably has a 1v1 on site, since the connector player's looking mid, the window player's looking mid, right? You may even have nobody on site if they're doubled up connector or they don't have a great purchase, and this should be a fairly easy gunfight for this guy to take. There's only so many spots where a CT can play on this side of the site, right? And it's pretty easy to clear. And the CT doesn't expect just one guy to come out. They expect smokes to come over, blah, blah, blah. There's also a lot of fighting mid. He's like, nobody's about to walk out A on me. Then you walk out A on him, you get the kill. Technically, you're not supposed to do that in the strat, but it opens up the round for the rest of your team because you're looking at the different information that you have. That means that maybe you could get away with that. So really understanding that is very important. And then the final thing that I want to talk about is one thing that's a little bit overlooked when you're away from the game. You're like away for 5 days, 2 weeks, whatever, right? Any amount of time. And instead of, you just don't really feel like doing anything. Instead of like watching a demo or going through what I was just showing you, you don't really feel like doing anything. Getting that motivation back, getting that flame back to start playing again. So just watching professional matches, watching highlights. Highlights, honestly, are such a great thing to watch because they motivate you. You're like, I want to do that. I want to be able to do that. And it makes you want to go and do it. I personally will go through, and because I'm a little narcissistic, I'll go through and watch my own highlight videos where I'm like, bro, I used to be so good. Why can't I do that anymore? And it will make me want to play more and try to get back to that level. Although I've just cut out all the parts where I missed the shots, and it's just showing the highlights, and it looks like I'm super consistent. I can hit those shots all the time when I really can't. But it still tricks your brain, right? It still makes you think, I can do this. I want to be able to do this. So yeah, trying to get that flame back, trying to get that grind back, wanting to play those 3, 4, 5 matches a day. That's going to be the best thing for you when you're taking a break from the game. So thank you all for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below. If you want your own demo reviewed, please check out becoming a channel member. Hit the join button on my channel page. I do it every single Sunday in a live stream format. You can ask me personalized questions about it, blah, blah, blah. But please feel free to do that. And yeah, I think that's all I have. So thank you all for watching. Have a good day, and I will see you all next time.